Hey there. So, looks like we're diving into Nupi today. From the stuff you sent over, it seems like pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, looks like it.
Bringing employee training and communication together, kind of like, bringing them into the 21st century.
Right, right.
And it's all on this digital platform. So it's on your computer, your phone.
Keeping everyone connected.
Yeah, keeping everyone connected, helping, boost those skills.
And that's really what grabs me, how Nupi's combining communication and training.
Oh, yeah.
Because most companies, they really treat those as separate things, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
But having them work together all in one place, that's pretty new.
It's interesting, right? They actually use the word revolutionize when they're talking about communication and training.
Oh, wow.
So I'm curious, what's so revolutionary about it? What makes this different from, like, I don't know, a classic team meeting or those giant training manuals that just sit on a shelf?
I think it has to do with how we actually learn best. Like, when it's just a constant thing woven into how we work every day.
Hmm.
The old ways, they feel so disconnected from what you're actually doing.
Right.
But Nupi, it seems like they're really trying to change that.
Yeah.
Make information, training, all that, like, readily available and adaptable, Like, it fits each person, fits what they need when they need it.
That makes a lot of sense. And they're definitely all about that easy access web and mobile. Like, come on, that's almost essential these days.
Absolutely. It's just how we work now, right? Constantly moving, switching between devices all day.
Totally.
And Nupi's like, hey, we get it. We're going to fit into how you work, not the other way around.
I like that. Okay, so they get points for convenience. But what about the training itself, the actual nitty-gritty? They mentioned creating and organizing content, employees learning at their own pace. Is this just a fancy way of saying, like, hey, we uploaded your old PowerPoint and called it a day? Or is there something more?
It definitely seems like more. They specifically talk about interactive modules, things like quizzes, even games. There are even built-in evaluations.
Wow.
So it sounds like a much more engaging, hands-on approach, which is, that's super important for learning.
If you want people to remember.
Right.
Exactly.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Gamification cools, they say. Like achievements, points. For those who haven't heard of that, think like earning badges, leveling up. But at work.
I like it.
So what's the logic there? Does it actually work to use that for employee training?
Well, the thinking is you tap into our natural desire for recognition, right?
Makes sense.
So by adding those elements into training, Nupi's trying to make it more, I don't know, fun.
And motivating. And you know what? There's actually science behind this.
No way.
Studies show that gamification can lead to better engagement. A&D, get this, knowledge retention.
Really?
Yeah. It's not just about making it fun.
Right.
It's about actually like using psychology to help people learn.
So it's sneaky learning. Okay. Okay, so it's not all about the employees themselves.
Right.
Nupi also gives admins tools.
Yeah.
To track progress, make changes to content, that kind of stuff, reinforcing the learning. But isn't that what a good manager should already be doing?
I mean, yeah, good managers, they try to do those things.
Yeah.
But Nupi, it's like it gives them like superpowers, data-driven insights, to be specific. So it's like you can see exactly which parts are tripping people up.
Oh, wow.
Or which employees need more help. Then you
That's-
can, adjust the training based on that. It's pretty cool.
That is cool. So it's like a super assistant to help manage all this.
You got it.
All right. So everything we've talked about, it's very employee focused.
Yeah.
What about clients? Is there anything here about how they might use Nupi?
The stuff you sent, it's mostly about employees, but there's definitely potential for clients, I think.
Oh.
Imagine, like, using it for onboarding clients, giving them access to resources, or even just using it as a way to communicate.
Right.
It really depends on how the company wants to use it. Tailor it.
So it's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. You
Yeah.
can customize it for, internal, external
Yeah,
communication, training.
exactly.
That's a cool way to think about it.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this deep dive so interesting. We're looking at this platform that's like trying to solve all these needs together
Yeah,
in one spot.
exactly.
Very cool.
I know, right?
It really does highlight how much things are changing, how we learn.
Yeah,
It's becoming so much more personalized, so adaptable.
for sure.
Okay, so we've talked about the what, the how, but let's bring it back to the listener. Who would really benefit from this kind of platform?
I think Nupi could be like a game changer for certain companies.
Okay, like who?
Like companies with tons of remote
Oh,
workers
yeah, makes sense.
spread out everywhere, or businesses with a lot of employee turnover. They're always onboarding, training new folks. And I think any organization that really values learning, growing, developing their people, they would love Nupi, I think.
So companies that are really invested in their people, but maybe they're having trouble keeping everyone like engaged
Yeah.
on the same page.
Exactly. And Nupi kind of steps in, bridges that gap. It's that central hub for communication,
Okay.
makes training easier, more fun, and it gives the managers, the info they need to make smart decisions.
I like that.
It's about empowering everybody, the learner and the organization.
So thinking about your own work, your own team, does this sound familiar? Could something like Nupi be, I don't know, like that missing piece?
It makes you think, right? Like if tech like this can personalize learning, make it more engaging, what does that mean for the future of, the future of all this,
I mean, are we heading towards a world where like the old ways of training, they just disappear?
Yeah.
Will we all be, I don't know, earning badges, leveling up in our careers like it's a video game?
Maybe.
That would be kind of cool.
It's possible. But it's not just about the tech itself. It's
Okay.
like a whole mindset shift, I think.
Okay.
Embracing this idea that learning is constant, personalized. It's like a core part of work culture.
I have to say, I'm actually finding this whole thing pretty exciting. It feels like we're on the edge of, I don't know, like a big change
Yeah.
in how we learn, how we grow in our careers.
I'm right there with you. It's fascinating to watch it all happen.
Totally agree. Who knows? Maybe someday we'll all be using platforms like Nupi without even thinking about it. It'll just be like how things are done.
I could definitely see that.
All right, well, we've covered a lot in this Nupi deep dive.
We have.
From revolutionizing communication
Right.
and training to, its potential impact on the future, on how we learn. This platform is trying to shake things up.
It really is. And what's so striking is how it brings those two sides together. The individual needs and the organization's needs when it comes to learning. That's a tough thing to balance.
For sure.
It's going to be really interesting to see how all this evolves as, tech keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, that's what makes these deep dives so great. We get to explore these cutting edge ideas, understand why things are happening, and hopefully, walk away with some new ways of thinking.
Yeah.
Apply it to our own work.
Totally. And hey, listener, if you're feeling inspired, go do some digging.
Ooh, research. I love it.
There's so much out there about all this stuff. Gamification, personalized learning, how the whole world of training and development's changing.
Keep learning, everybody.
Yes.
So go forth, explore Nupi and all that it represents. You might just discover the key to, I don't know, like unlocking your team's full potential. Until next time, happy learning. It really does make you think, what the future holds for all this training stuff.
Yeah. One thing I keep thinking about is that personalization thing.
Oh, yeah.
If Nupi can really, tailor those learning experiences to each person
Yeah.
and keep them motivated with all that gamification stuff,
Yeah.
that could be huge.
Yeah, it's like we're moving away from that old way of doing training.
Right.
One size fits all.
Right.
And going towards something way more, I don't know, dynamic,
Exactly.
engaging.
And that shift, it could have a ripple effect across industries,
Oh, yeah.
Healthcare, finance, even education. Imagine if training in those fields was truly personalized.
Wow, that's pretty cool. But I got to ask, are there any downsides
Yeah.
to this whole tech-driven learning thing?
That's a good point. I think we have to be careful about things like data privacy,
Right.
making sure the tech is used the right way,
Yeah.
ethically, responsibly. We don't want people feeling like they're constantly being watched or, pressured to perform.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So it's about finding that balance,
Definitely.
using tech to make learning better.
Yeah.
But, being aware of the possible downsides.
Exactly. And the key is to keep things human, I think.
Totally.
Tech should be a tool, right? To help people learn, to empower them, not to replace those human connections.
Right.
Because those are so important.
I like that. So it sounds like Nupi is just one example of a much bigger thing happening. This whole, I don't know, mashup of tech, learning, and the workplace.
It's a fascinating space for sure.
Yeah, it really is. And it's changing so fast.
It is. It's going to be really interesting to see how companies and even just individuals adapt to all this, how they shape the future of learning,
Well, we've certainly explored a lot of ground in this Nupi deep dive.
We have.
It's a platform with big goals, not just changing how we train people, but how we think about learning and development overall.
Yeah. And for you, listener, the takeaway is this. Nupi might just be a peek into the future of work. A future where learning is, all personalized, engaging, and just a natural part of everything we do.
It's definitely something to think about. Well, until next time, everyone, keep those minds curious and keep exploring.